Hello and welcome back to the Grand Prix World Series. My name is Topher Smith, and today we head to the first round of the European leg of the season, Dijon-Bourgogne, for the 6th round of the Season 6 of this championship. As ever, we're going to start off with League 2, and let's remind ourselves of what the driver standings look like. Colton Herta leads the way on 55 points, 12 ahead of Gabriele Mini, second in the championship after he took victory at the season opening round in Road America. Nyck de Vries third on 41 in the Toyota, ahead of Pato O'Ward and Yeye on 37 points each. Ryo Hirakawa in the second Toyota, 6th on 34, ahead of Felix Rosenqvist on 32, Roman Grosjean on 30, Luke Browning also on 30, and Igor Fraga in 10th place on 29 points. Looking at the team standings, Spiker leads the way on 85 points, only 10 ahead of Toyota at the moment, quite close between those two. And Ram Racing up to third after Pato O'Ward's victory last time out at the Grand Prix of the Americas. 66 points for Ross McGregor's team, and they are getting themselves well and truly into the thick of this title fight. Bimoto KRT 4th on 57, ahead of Prema on 50. Simtek 6th on 45, ahead of 40 Corsa on 33. Iron Dames on 27. Opel on 9th, having got themselves off the bottom of the table after Daniel Kvyat's podium last time out. Mazda also on 20 points in 10th. Ahead of Chip Ganassi on 17, Sax Speed on 14 and M Sport propping up the field on 6. So with no driver changes to bring you for today's League 2 race, let's take a look at the qualifying results and see how the drivers are going to line up today. And it is a home pole position for Roman Grosjean in the Spiker, a 1:13.011 for the Frenchman, and he will look to convert that pole into his second victory of the season here today. Ryo Hirakawa second on the grid, just behind Grosjean in time though, very close between those two. Joel Eriksson a surprise third on the grid for Opel with a brilliant performance, ahead of Yeye in fourth, and Daniel Kvyat in the second Opel, the German team doing an amazing job in qualifying to have both of their cars in the top 5. Colton Herta, our championship leader, is 6th, ahead of Nyck de Vries, Pato O'Ward, Mick Schumacher and Nick Cassidy. A great job by him in the Mazda for his and the team's best qualifying result of the season so far. Earl Bamber will line up 11th in the Chip Ganassi, ahead of Luke Browning, 12th in the Simtek, ahead of the two Iron Dames of Jamie Chadwick and Dorian Pan. Scott McLaughlin 15th in the second Mazda, ahead of Antonio Giovinazzi, Finn McLaughlin, Joseph Newgarden, Gabriele Mini and Steph Dusseldorf getting himself into 20th place for today's race. And at the back, Igor Fraga, Felix Rosenqvist, our reigning champion, a really disappointing job by him in qualifying. Charles Lacey 23rd ahead of Ayumu Iwasa, Philippe Salaquada and Leo Fornaroli rounding out the field here today. So can Roman Grosjean convert his pole position into a home victory and take his second win of the season? Let's get to it and hand over to Tom Cairns, ready and waiting in the commentary box. So Tom, let's hand it over to you.
Roman Grosjean on pole at home. Can he end his barren run of form and come away with a memorable victory here at Dijon-Bourgogne? The lights are coming on now. Lights are on. Lights off, it's go, and it's a good start from the man starting second place on the grid. That is Ryo Hirakawa into the lead before turn number 1, and also Joel Eriksson's got into second place. So Grosjean down from pole to third, ahead of his teammate Colton Herta before they get to turn number 2. So it's Hirakawa, Eriksson, Grosjean, Herta. Yeye is in 5th position. He's down 1 position from his spot. Pato O'Ward, race winner last time out, is in 6th place, followed by Nick Cassidy, Mick Schumacher, Daniel Kvyat and Antonio Giovinazzi are in the top 10. Right on board with Roman Grosjean, who has Colton Herta to his right-hand side. And there goes the American through on the inside. And 3rd position heads his way. They go through the infield. This is the shorter version of Dijon-Bourgogne they are using, just like they did last season. As they come through the infield, a lot of corners are named after long-serving team managers. The Grand Prix Series, we would look at Mick Schumacher. About with Daniel Kvyat, jostling for position further back. I think it might have been Dorian Pan handing it out with Scott McLaughlin for 14th place. Hirakawa over the line to complete lap number 1, and he's the driver leading this. But look at Yeye on the inside now of Grosjean at turn number 1. No way through yet for the Chinese driver. It's Pato O'Ward who will be next in line to attack. Going into turn number 2. which is the Fleuve corner. And it's the Mac chicane. They're heading out of the curved entry rapide. It's the back straight, which is known as La Piste. And it's the right-hander of Petit Ouge. The second of the right-handers here is Woodwis, and then it's through Ferris, Cav, Smith, Sanson, Cairns. The Goddard hairpin, which is similar to the one that you would find at Donington. And the final corner, which is Dixon, which is that long sweeping right-hander before the pit straight. Final ball with Nick Cassidy, who's been passed by Danica Fiat for P7. Opel had a race to remember with second place finish for Danica Fiat. Joel Eriksson didn't get to the end of the race, but did show signs of promise for the team. In P3. Looking at the setups that each of the teams have gone for. 40, maximum top speed, Zach Speed, Mazda, Chip Ganassi, Iron Danes and Toyota have gone for neutral. Ram mid top speed, Prema neutral, Simtek mid top speed, Opel neutral, Remota mid top speed, Spiker and M Sport have both gone for neutral. In second position. And looking further back, see Yearfy, who looks to be in line to have a go on Romain Grosjean at Goddard, but no way through just yet. Now we see Colhurter approaching Opel and Joel Eriksson coming out of the final corner. Spiker and Opel are running neutral setups. The man who finished in 5th position last time out. Rode up at Sebring. That is Iyumi Waza. Behind him are Philip Salaquada and Charles Malaysi, who are fighting out for the last positions in the race. There's no one who had to come in for any repair jobs, which is good news. See Herter dive to the inside of Eriksson. Petit Ouge, no way through. 1.7 seconds is the gap between the man in the lead that you can see. And that's Scott McLaughlin, who appears to have some form of difficulty. Might have broken his front wing somewhere around the racetrack. Over at Woodward, what's he managed to do? He's fine through there. It's the Ferris flick where he's gone wrong and the front wing's broken. So he'll be the first driver heading for the pit lane. So it's a bit too far to go before he gets there. You see Romain Grosjean in 4th position now. And there's an engine blow up further back. We'll come to that in a moment. Yearfy does not make the move. And the driver dropping down the order is Yearfy's teammate Mick Schumacher. He's the one carrying an engine issue. And he's out of the race. And it looks like he might have stopped on the pit straight. Yeah, I think... Well, say he had an engine failure. It looked like he clouded the barrier on the exit of the last turn. Very dangerous spot for him to be stopping at. But at least he's out of everyone's way, and it's game over for Mick Schumacher. Into the pit lane comes Scott McLaughlin. De Vries, the man who dominated the race at Sebring before he retired, is not having the best time of it here. He's been passed by Luke Browning, who goes up into the points. Look at Hertzer in 3rd position. Grosjean and Yi are in their own squabble. We see Dorian Penn on the inside of Earl Bamber. That's a brilliant pass, but she's been tapped by her teammate Jamie Chadwick. That won't go down too well with Jake Sanson's team at Iron Dames. Chadwick thought there was a gap to go for it there. I don't know what she tried to do. Obviously there did Jamie. I think she's got the car going as well as Pans. The last corner, just to confirm there's no further action going to be taken on that incident. There's Sophia McLaughlin, he's running in 14th position. He finished third on debut. Petrella does Funes. Check like in the last one at Sebring. And that's a wheel off for Leo Fornaroli in the M Sport. His run of 2 consecutive finishes in the points come to an end. He might have had a tap from the promoter of Iyumu Iwaza. That's Iwaza's responsibility there. Came too close to the M Sport. I don't know whether the M Sport was nursing an issue. Whether he just went a little bit too deep at turn 2. Came back a bit too much into the path of the Japanese. No, I'll have to put that down to the promoter. I think it was a maybe hit with a hefty punishment for that. Before Fornaroli's race is over, he is the second driver to retire from the race on lap number 6. Usually, for a driver that takes out another driver in a race, usually counts towards penalty points and a potential disqualification. It used to be a race ban and a disqualification before this season, but that was changed with penalty points being introduced. And the punishment for Iwaza is that he's been given a 30-second time penalty, a 10-place grid penalty for the next race, and 6 penalty points on his licence. So wherever Iwaza finishes, 30 seconds will be applied. And there we see Danica Fiat going wide there. It might have been passed, by Antonio Giovinazzi. But the Italian is past the Opel. Goes on by. The next round of the championship after this one is in Valencia, the Ricardo Tormo circuit. Hirakawa in the lead. 2.5 seconds clear over Joel Eriksson. Colton Hurst is in third. Yearfeet is now ahead of Grosjean in 4th position. Iyumu Iwaza this one. I don't think he had any penalty points before this one, no, so that's his first penalty points of this season. Look at Kvyat trying to get back ahead of Giovinazzi, and that's a blow up for Igor Fraga in the ramp. Not good news for Ross McGregor's team. He is out on lap number 8. So Ward's still going in the race in P7. It's the end of the road for Igor Fraga. And that is his second non-finish of this season. See on the inside of Grosjean. And that's another place lost there for the home hero. It's the Kiwi who goes on by into P5. Could be that Grosjean is running a heavier fuel load compared to most. There's Cassidy going on through. Look at the exact speed of Steph Dusseldorf. As Gabriele Mini ahead. Inside goes Dusseldorf, doesn't quite do it there with Mini. So he has to hold back and wait another time. Rico's lead over Ericsson is 2.8. Racing Chris has Joseph Newgarden right behind. Tom Cairns came into this one 12 points clear over Gabriele Mini in second place, into Prix with his latest non-finish. Ended up in third place. Towards win there. Oh, and that's Fitz Rosenquist's front wing broken. The reigning Grand Prix Series champion will be heading off into the pit lane. It's going to be a long race, unfortunately, for the Swede. And he's got a loose wheel as well on the left rear. Chip to the pit lane for Felix Rosenquist at the end of lap number 9. He might use this first scheduled stop if you want to put it in that context. Get some clean air as well, so all is not lost for Rosenquist. We've seen it to Freeze passing Luke Browning for 10th position. Back into the points goes the Toyota. Toyota have celebrated victory at Curitiba, which was the first for them in the Grand Prix Series. First for the team manager, and Kvyat's front wing is next to be broken on the exit of Sanson. That's a body blow for Topher Smith's team. Kvyat doesn't have too far to go, but this will cost him time. Who's running in 15th position, which will become 14th now that Kvyat has pitted. Three and a half seconds the gap between Hirakawa and Ericsson. That's the third, G fourth, Cassie 5th. Grosjean just ahead of Pato Ward in 6th place, O'Ward 7th, and it's Giovinazzi, De Vries and Browning. As far as the team's championship is concerned, Spiker came into this 10 points clear over second place Toyota. Ram and further 9 points back in third place. The top 3 teams in League 2 will go up to League 1 next season, paving the way for the bottom 3 teams in League 1 to head down. Oh, that's Hirakawa, who's hit the barrier. He's hit the barrier as rear Hirakawa. And luckily, the car remained intact. Oh, he's a lucky, lucky man. Nearly ended up in the same way as what happened to Mick Schumacher. See. Looks like Earl Bamber attacking Dorian Pan. Browning looking up at the chicane. Pursuit of Nick De Vries. Three drivers out of the race so far. We've lost Igor Fraga, Leo Fornaroli and Mick Schumacher. Iwasa does have that time penalty for his running with Fornaroli. He's outside the top 15 at the moment anyway, so it's not really that relevant. Laps down, 36 to go. Look at Joel Eriksson in P2, continuing to run well. And there's Browning with Theo McLaughlin on his inside. No way past that. And we see Hertha in P3. First ever Grand Prix Series race over Arturo de los Fines. Nick de Vries knows that winning feeling all too well. Your race leader, Rio Hirakawa. As we look at Theo McLaughlin go for it on Luke Browning. He makes contact with the Brit. They both keep going as they are, but that was definitely not McLaughlin's corner. That was a tap from the Irishman. Keep going as they are, but that would have given team manager James Knox a little bit fright. No further action is taken. We've got a couple of pit stops over at Spiker and Mazda. Colin Hertha and Nick Cassidy make their way in, as does Dorian Panthor. Iron Days, and we see Newgarden clarifying the barrier on the exit of the last turn of Dixon. And he's another one of those who is able to keep the car points in the right way. That and lives to fight another day. Steph Dusseldorp has come in for Sack Speed, as does Charles Malaysi for M Sport. Joel Eriksson in second place. And to be joined behind Kafia. Kafia hits him a few laps sooner than Hertha, which explains why he's in front of him. Off the lead. Over at Plymouth. And Joel Eriksson now comes in for Opel, which could give Hertha and Kafia a chance to completely undercut on him. And I think there's a very good chance of that happening. And Antonio Giovinazzi come in. Kafia and Hertha are now ahead of Eriksson. And we see the League One Dijon-Bourgogne Grand Prix winner of last season, Phillips Rose and Chris, go by Scott McLaughlin. And Hertha. There's Newgarden. Hirakawa is now in for Toyota. You see Eriksson behind. Spiker. Hoping he can find a way through, but there's no room to do it there just yet. Meets out there. Might well be doing the one stop, because we see Ward bouncing over the grass when he gets to the first corner of this shorter version of Dijon-Bourgogne, designed by the Lancia team manager Chris Cavani. Doing a particularly good job with this one. Finally through on New Garden at turn 2. I've got Yearfeet leading this race. New Garden is passed by the Mazda of Nick Cassidy. New Garden, who's not had the best of starts to his season, just 5 points on the board from 5 races. And he fought for the title for a fair bit of the way for Jaguar last season, and he remained in contention for the League One driver's title when he was a Leighton House driver a couple of seasons back. And oh, we've got 2 cars off. We've got Pan and one of these Saxons, is it? Oh, no, it's one of the... It's the M Sport. Charles Malaysi's been caught up in that. So Dusseldorf went off the circuit and took out Doyen Pan. And Gabriele Mini, I think, was able to get through. Oh, yeah, it looks like... Oh, I think something's kicked off over there. Multiple cars got involved. Oh, that was one of the Simtex going off as well. That might have been Thea McLaughlin going off the racetrack. Now, was someone nursing an issue that had forced someone to go out wide as Denny Kvyat comes in for his second stop? Front wing damage on Malaysi's car. Pan might be able to keep going as she is. And no further action is going to be taken on that. I think that's fair enough. I don't think there was enough evidence to really see whose fault that was. Kvyat comes back out onto the racetrack. In 18th position, Awaza and Salaquada made their way in. Mini has also come into the pit lane. We've seen it, De Vries and Rio Hirakawa. De Vries hasn't stopped yet in this race, and Hirakawa has. In towards the last corner. Yearfeet comes in from the lead, which has position back to Grosjean. Look at Kvyat, who's got the Mazda of Scott McLaughlin right in front. I don't think McLaughlin has stopped yet in this race. I might be wrong with that. Let's see how much grip Kvyat has. We've got O'Ward coming in as well as Yi. New Garden enters the pit lane for Chip Ganassi. It looks like Hirakawa has disposed of his teammate now and can go after Grosjean. Kvyat passes McLaughlin for 16th. Hirakawa is running in P2, chasing after Grosjean. For those that got caught up in that melee over at Ferris, it might be Smith thinking of it. Their race is going to be hard to rescue as we see Ericsson make his way through on Colton Hertzer for 4th place. And on a slightly fresher rubber to Hertzer. There's Nick De Vries next to chase. There's a pit stop over at Chip Ganassi. El Bamba is in. More through. on Felix Rosenquist. See the 40 again. Browning on better tyres, heads through on the 40. If you remember, Rosenquist had to pit early for that new front wing and loose wheel. There is Newgarden heading by McLaughlin for 18th. De Vries in P3. Carrot is now in front of Grosjean. Oh, that's it. What's it going off the circuit? Front wing broken on the promoter. And it's got a whole lot worse for the rookie. And looks like there's a second pit stop as well over at Opel for Joel Eriksson. So he's in for his second stop, and that's an engine blow-up, unfortunately, for Joseph Newgarden. His season continues to get worse. And this is Eriksson, who had to come in. He didn't see what the issue was. But Newgarden, unless he can get his car back to the pit lane, it's curtains for him, and it is curtains for the American. It's going to be very tough for Chip Ganassi to mount a promotion challenge, and there is the car ablaze now. So the car is on fire. We'll need to pull that off the racetrack. And it's a retirement for Antonio Giovinazzi as well. That's the 40 out over at Goddard. It's a terrible shame because he was running well in this. It looked like it might have been a gearbox issue for Antonio Giovinazzi, and it was a gearbox issue. And Newgarden pulls off at Ferris. There's 2 more cars gone from this one. On lap 21 out of 48, Rio Hirakawa leads by 4.4 seconds over Roman Grosjean. Grosjean has yet to stop in this though. And Eriksson's unscheduled stop, he didn't put enough fuel in to take him to the checkered flag, so he's going to have to pass some cars on circuit before he comes in for his third and final trip. Position and hits the barrier. He's able to keep going. 5 drivers out of the race now. Antonio Giovinazzi, Joseph Newgarden, Igor Fraga, Leo Fornaroli and Mick Schumacher. There's a year of feet. Heads on by De Vries for 4th place. He's determined to go on through. He's on the inside of De Vries now. He doesn't make it there. And Thea McLaughlin has come in for Simtech. And Pan's car is up in smoke. That's her race over and done with here on home turf. A sorry sight for the home fans who have turned up to see her perform here today. She's out before half race distance. Her teammate Jamie Chadwick is currently running in 9th position at the moment, so all is not lost. Well, I say that! Chadwick's car is up in flames! A double blow for Jake Sanson. DeFries comes in for his only stop of the race. Absolute disaster for the Iron Dames squad. Chadwick pulls off the circuit and she is out. Iron Danes will be leaving Dijon-Bourgogne with no points. James was on 8th in the standings. On 27 points. It looks like Theo McLaughlin's back in the pit lane again. So his race continues to get worse now. DeFries, after his one and only stop, has come back out in 13th behind Steph Dusseldorp. Wazza is having to come back in for another stop. What is going on with Yuma Wazza today? We look at Nick Cassidy in the Mazda, still going at the moment in 4th position. That's Yiafi heading on by into P4. Ward is the next driver behind. You see Hirakawa in the lead. Good for his first win of the season. The last victory was at Kyalami last season for Minardi. Rosenquist is in for his final stop. He's up to 9th position for heading for pit road. Roman Grosjean in 2nd place, 10.7 seconds off the lead. And that's Ericsson and Kvyat swapping places. Ericsson is due in for the pit lane again, as is Kvyat. Swap places. Grosjean now comes in for Spiker for his only stop at the end of lap 24. And that's a pass from Yiafi on Colton Herter. So Yiafi coming alive in this race. 17 seconds off the lead that Hirakawa has. Grosjean, I would say, will rejoin ahead of where Ericsson and Kvyat are, maybe. Is in front of Ericsson and Kvyat, so that'll give him a tyre advantage for now. Go after Earl Bamber. Get by him and potentially go after Luke Browning, who's next. Scott McLaughlin comes in from Mazda. Rosenquist has passed Salaquada for 14th. There we see Grosjean on the inside of Bamber over at Goddard. That's the Frenchman through on the Brit. Or the Kiwi, rather, I should say. Grosjean will be going after Browning, who's running in P6. Things are going. Will stay in the lead in the Drivers' Championship. Heading into 2nd place as the man is in the lead, and that's Ryo Hirakawa. He's got the point for the fastest lap. won't be doing enough to go into the championship lead. Heading into Valencia. That's Theo McLaughlin unlapping himself from the race leader. Here's the Irishman getting on with his own race. He's got around about 10 seconds to make up on Sean Lacey. Browning and Grosjean is 2 seconds, or 1 second rather. Grosjean isn't far away from making a move. And there they are. Browning and Grosjean. Through turn 1 and now 2. There's the Mac chicane, which they will be heading through next. As they come on to the piste back straight. With more than enough grip. He goes on by the Simtech. And he's through. Nicely done. Cassidy. There's another 6 seconds up the road. So Grosjean's got some time just to make up the ground. Crucially on Hirakawa for when Hirakawa was increasing the last start from the lead. He's going to be on far prettier tyres compared to Grosjean. So Grosjean's going to get the hammer down now. Iyumu was it heading through. That has to be Potto Award because that's the only run left in the race. The gap between Keston and Grosjean's gone down to 4.3. Gabriel Mini is having it out there with Felix Rosenquist, and Luke Browning locks up a little. Whilst running in P7, he's got El Bamba right behind. Gabriel Mini is now in for the motor. So we want to forget for Lucy Bastondale's team. After that strong start to the season with Mini taking victory at Road America. Now on lap 29, just 20 laps to go. This lead to Dijon-Bourgogne Grand Prix. Rui Hirakawa's lead is over 13 seconds. He was running in P2. He's doing his best to catch up. There we see El Bamba fighting with Luke Browning, and that's Nick de Vries through on Joel Eriksson. See Bamba on the inside of Browning. Can't quite do it there. He held back wisely. Now he's coming out of the match chicane. He'll get a run on the Simsek on the piste back straight. Nick de Vries is the next driver who will be attacking Bamba. And we see the Toyota heading on by here into P8. So that's the Dutchman through. No problem whatsoever. Saw Eriksson, I think, lose a little bit of time. Was there contact between him and Bamba? It looked like Bamba had gone well and truly wide, actually. So what's happened to El Bamba? He must have gone too deep. See de Vries, who doesn't go for it. Mini's back in the pit lane again for Bimota. We see O'Ward just 3 seconds clear over Colton Herter, and then we look at Grosjean, who heads on by Nick Cassidy for 5th place. Spiker have got a decision to make here. Most probably to tell Herter to let Grosjean through. They are on different strategies. Ericsson on Browning. Browning holds on for now. We'll see Hirakawa. 14 seconds clear over Yearfeet. That's Ericsson through on Browning. That's for P9, or P8 rather. But Ericsson is due to stop again before this race is over. There's Bamba. Let's get another point coming his way after opening his point score for this season last time out at Sebring. Who was it? They are hoping that will be the last pit stop they do in this race. And Sean Malacy is going to complete M Sports Day by parking his car up. And that's another one of the French drivers out of the race here. No points, unfortunately, for M Sport. They'll have to hope for better luck next time out. Ricardo Tormo. After this round, the upgrade window will open for the team managers to decide whether they're going to put their budget towards downforce, brake horsepower, or reliability. And Grosjean is also out of the race, and it looks like someone has picked up an issue just ahead, and that's Gabriele Mini. So Gabriele Mini, oh, he went wide in avoidance. In fact, he spun. He spun in avoidance of the spiker, and luckily kept going. But Grosjean's race is over. Because he did very well to avoid Mini there. And that's the last French driver out of the race now. So he goes no further, unfortunately. Hirakawa pits for the final time. Does not need to worry about Romain Grosjean anymore now. Just needs to focus on bringing the car home. Yuffie will go into the lead. Pato Ward will go into second place. And third will be Colton Hertzer. Mini unlapping himself from Nick Cassidy. Grosjean becomes the 9th driver to retire. Gabriele Mini and Iwasa will move up positions. Iwasa, who's been at the back for so long now, it's just using this as a test session. He's gone and buy the Opel to unlap. Award running in P2. There is Hirakawa from Hertzer. Let's go into P3. That move was coming all along. It's Browning running wide at Sanson, but got away with it. Come in for fuel and tyres. Cassidy the same. Danny Kafia has also decided he needs to come in for more tyres and fuel. Here was it. Laps himself from the Chip Ganassi. Steph Dusseldorp is the next one to come in. Zach Speed. Gabriele Mini is just hopeful for this race to be over as soon as possible. There's no chance the promoter will be coming away with any points. race. He already had it to his name, but that latest attempt to put another hand on it now. I don't think anyone is going to take that away from him. Right on board with Yifi. Just behind him will be Hirakawa, who's now 1.1 seconds off the lead. Browning, Bamber and Ericsson are all in for their final stops. How close Hirakawa is getting to Yi. Down the hill they come. Hirakawa is within range to attack. And out of Cairns and towards Goddard. He goes for it on the inside. And that's the Toyota through into the lead. And unless any mechanical gremlins kicks into that Toyota, it's Hirakawa's race to lose. Mike Gillespie going to celebrate a second Grand Prix Series victory as a team manager. Yifi has decided he's going to come in, as is Tom Cairns. So that promotes Nick de Vries up to second. Ward will go up into third place. Cassidy, and that'll be Yifi's just coming out in fourth position, so Yifi is good where he is. He's got 14 laps to catch O'Ward and de Vries if he's to finish in second place. As well as the point for fastest lap. To an extent, they will take over the lead from Spiker. Toyota will move on to 119 points. Spiker with the pole position for Grosjean. With Hertz running in 6th place, they'll only be on 94, so they'll be 25 points off the lead as it stands. We'll see Dusseldorf behind Scott McLaughlin for P12. The Dutchman through ahead of the Kiri, and that's Hertz. Colin Hertz, just after he's pitted, has picked up some form of issue. It's a loose wheel on the rear left, and it's game over again for Ben Hackerson's team. It's almost certain that they are not going to lead the team's championship after this race. The championship leader is out of the lead to Dijon-Bourgogne Grand Prix. Luke Browning through on Felix Rosenquist for 8th position. That's the Brit through. Well, Bamber waits for his opportunity to go on by. De Vries is now under pressure from O'Ward. So we'll look at Joel Eriksson, who's pitted 3 times in this race. He's back into 6th position, chasing Nick Cassidy. And O'Ward has passed de Vries. O'Ward has passed de Vries for 2nd place. We didn't see the overtake, but the Ram is through. He's the man who won last time out at Sebring. Going to be heading to the podium again. And Yifi feels he's going to get to the podium as well. He's been on the podium already this season at Road America, and looks to be on his way to his 2nd podium finish of the season by passing the Toyota. Now the car behind de Vries is one of the promoters that's a lap down. That might well be a Yumo Waza. Nick Cassidy came into the pit lane whilst all that was going on. He was running in 5th position, so that promotes Ericsson up to 5th place, Kafir 6th, Browning, Bamber, who got by Rosenquist for 8th. Rosenquist is 9th, and Cassidy has rejoined the race now in P10. And That's one of the promoters on lapping the Toyota of Nick de Vries, who is beginning to struggle. Ericsson is on far better tyres compared to the Toyota, has a chance to go after him for 4th place. Whilst Yi is chasing after O'Ward for 2nd. Gap now that Hirakawa has over O'Ward. It's around about 25 seconds. There is Philip Salaquada, who's down a lap in 14th. His teammate Steph Dusseldorp is just outside the points in P11, so there may be a chance for Saxby to still come away with a point at least. Not had a lot to celebrate this season. They're sitting 2nd from bottom, 14 points. There's Rosenquist being attacked by Cassidy. Cassidy is not going to make that a contest for himself. So easy pass, and there we see Dusseldorp chasing that last point. We'll see if he gained the gap down on O'Ward. And Ericsson has come down to 8 seconds. Ericsson's flying on his final set of tyres. Hirakawa has got Theo McLaughlin as his next driver to lap. He's now got a commanding lead. Behind fighting amongst themselves. And there's the Mexican and the Chinese. No Prema, who haven't been on the podium since round 1. They're on their way back there. Ram looking to continue their form as well. Twice podium finishes already this campaign. Result for O'Ward will put them within touching distance of Spiker. Won't be enough for them to leapfrog them. And here is Hirakawa trying to lap Theo McLaughlin. McLaughlin not making it easy for him. Now Prema, who have scored points in every race so far this season. De Vries has had to come in. So De Vries, who's running in 4th position, has come in with what looked like an electrical issue. An electrical problem for Nick de Vries. This will drop him out of the points. Add any more fuel in there. It's enough for a set of boots, and out he goes. De Vries. Whilst we watch De Vries, this is Yi Yiffy pulling off a move on Pato O'Ward, and that's a neat overtake from the Prema. Yi Yiffy moves into 2nd position, and Pato O'Ward will be thinking, how is he managed to lose that one? Is he nursing an issue? I wonder if he might be nursing an issue, Pato O'Ward, because Yi Yiffy's pulling away from him. Yeah, the gap looks to be increasing. I think O'Ward may be running into some form of mechanical trouble here. We'll see when he goes around the final corner. Does he decide to come in to get the problem sorted out? No, he doesn't. Carries on as he is. There we see Hirakawa, 22 seconds ahead in the lead. Fries' stop has left him in 9th position ahead of Seth Dusseldorp, who's now up into the points ahead of Rosenquist. He's chasing after El Bamba. Just over 4 seconds to make up. De Vries has got another 5 to make up on Gasly himself. Might go for a fastest lap on this tour. De Vries if he can help it. Another low-key race for him again. And now we see Hirakawa. It's a lap. Scott McLaughlin should be able to do it. The piste back straight. That's him through. That Salaquada might be heading past Theo McLaughlin, so Salaquada is now through on the Simtech. And then we look at O'Ward, who's now over 3 seconds off Yiafi. Not long left in the race. Carroll will be going over the line to start his 43rd lap. 6 laps to go for the race leader. That's Gabriel Milli being lapped by Yiafi. There's the Toyota. De Vries' problems, will that be an issue for the Japanese in the final laps? Let's hope not. Dusseldorp in 10th position. Still on the same lap as the leader, the last driver on the lead lap now is Felix Rosenquist in 11th. Suck speed. The team with the highest number of victories, or most number of Grand Prix World Series starts without a race win. This is their 71st outing. Seconds to get between Hirakawa and Yiafi. It is coming down, but Hirakawa is going to have more than enough to see this one out. Yiafi in second place. There we see Ericsson putting a lap on Yuma Wazo, I think that is. Look at O'Ward in P3. That will be 5 seconds, I think, now. It is 5 seconds. O'Ward just needs to make no more mistakes here, and the podium will be coming his way. Joel Eriksson has got the gap down between him and O'Ward. It's 11.3. Luke Brennan will be happy with his 6th place. Nick Haston 7th. Elbamba 8th, looking good for 2 points finishes in a row, but he's got Nick De Vries right on his tail now. It's a matter of time before De Vries disposes of Bamba. He tries to go for it at turn 2 and decides that that wasn't going to be the best place for him to do it there. Now we see Bamba right on board. De Vries goes on by, I think. Nope. Bamba is able to hold him off for the time being. He continues to pull clear. O'Ward just 4 laps remaining. And this lead to Dijon-Bourgogne Grand Prix, round 6. The 6th edition of this particular series that's been going on since 2020. Concepted by Jake Sanson, the Iron Danes team manager. Bamber has been overtaken by De Vries. So De Vries is up into 8th place. Can he go after Cassidy, Browning and maybe Kvyat in the final laps? There's a Who is not going to lose any more positions, even with the penalty, because he is the last driver on circuit. Go after his teammate. He's got a fair bit to make up first. Oh, and Cassidy breaks his front wing right behind Luke Browning, and his 7th position is going to be down the drain. What a shame for the Kiwi. Not the first driver to have done that in this race. Gabriele Mini actually has come in. It's up 5 times now he's come in. Gabriele Mini. I don't know. He'll fall behind his teammate on the road, which he does, but he has that penalty, so whatever happens, Mini will go back ahead of him. And Bamber has clouded the barrier on the exit of the last turn, and he's lucky to get away with that. We see Gabriele Mini coming out of the pit lane behind El Bamber. Hirikawa's lead. It's nearly 18 seconds over Yearfeet. Pato Ward 3rd, Joel Eriksson 4th, Danny Kvyat 5th. Luke Browning's got Nick De Vries closing him down. The gap was 1.4 seconds in the last sector. He's now just under 4 tenths. It's a matter of time before De Vries passes Browning here, rather than if. There's Mini unlapping himself from El Bamber. Oh, Eriksson hits the barrier and he survives. He's lucky there. Kvyat's closing in as well. De Vries has passed Browning. De Vries is through and he's up into 6th place with 2 laps remaining. Hirikawa is coming round. Final lap around this 4.8km circuit of Dijon-Bourgogne. The Japanese is close to seeing out his 4th Grand Prix Series win and his 1st for Toyota. What a day this will be again for Mike Gillespie, which will help his team's hopes in pursuing a place in League 1 next season, and that's Cassidy going through on Dusseldorp back into 9th position. He's not going to do anything about El Bamber, unfortunately. Might go for a fastest lap on the last tour, we'll see. And there's Yearfeet in 2nd position. And Ryo Hirikawa is very close to sealing this out now. And what a race again. And this is going to help his chances in the championship as well. And what a day for Toyota. With the Grand Prix Series entering each European phase, this is the kind of phase where a lot is going to determine how this championship is going to be panning out at the end of the campaign. Ryo Hirikawa wins the Lead 2 Dijon-Bourgogne Grand Prix An excellent job from Mike Gillespie's team. It's the second win for the Scotsman. But it's the Japanese driver, Ryu Hirakawa, standing on the top step. Yiafi is coming out of the last corner to finish in second position for Prema. And then completing the podium will be the race winner of last time out, Pato Ward. Brilliant job from Ram again. He's come away with another podium position. Joel Eriksson, first time finishing in the points. He did get a point for the fast lap a couple of races ago, but it's a 4th place finish here. And more points for Topher Smith's team. Danny Kafia has got Nick De Vries on his tail, but Kafia holds on to 5th. De Vries 6th. And there was the two Bemotors battle amongst themselves. A lap down. Brown in 7th, Bamber 8th. Can Nick Cassidy get the fastest lap and take it away from Ryu Hirakawa? He can! He's done it! The fast lap going to the master of Nick Cassidy, as well as getting 2 points for finishing 9th. Steph Dusseltop gets the last point in 10th place. And Felix Rosenquist is the last driver on the lead lap in 11th. It's a win for Ryu Hirakawa at Dijon-Bourgogne in lead 2. And what a job again from Toyota. Yiafi 2nd. Pato Ward making it to the podium again in 3rd place. Joel Eriksson in 4th for Opel, followed by his teammate Danny Kafia in 5th. That's a great haul of points for Topher Smith's team. Nick De Vries 6th. Luke Brown in 7th. El Bamber 8th. Nick Cassidy in 9th. And Steph Dusseltop bagging another point in 10th position. Felix Rosenquist in 11th, and it's the lapped drivers of Scott McLaughlin, Philip Salaquada, Theo McLaughlin, Gabriele Mini, who got back ahead of Yuma Wazo once his time penalty was applied. 16 drivers making it to the end. Those that didn't finish, Colton Herter and Roman Grosjean, both out, and a bad dent to Spiker's title challenge. Charles Malaysi, Jamie Chadwick, Dorian Pan, Antonio Giovinazzi, Joseph Newgarden, Igor Fraga, Leo Fornarelli, and Mick Schumacher were the drivers to not finish. The pole position going to Roman Grosjean, and the fast lap point taken right at the death by Nick Cassidy. Another win for Toyota, and that has propelled them into the lead of the team's championship. Ryu Hirakawa's win, although that fast lap point was taken away from him right at the end by Nick Cassidy, his result has moved him up the order, and to my calculation, he is now the championship leader after 6 rounds. What a job for him with the form he is up to. He's been on the podium now for 3 of the last 4 races. Could this be a sign of things to come? A 4th Grand Prix World Series win coming in the way of Ryu Hirakawa. It's time to run down on the League 2 Drivers and Teams Championships in the voice of Topher Smith. And we'll be back for the League 1 race very, very shortly.
So a second victory of the season for Toyota and a first for Ryu Hirakawa in a dominant display by the Japanese driver. A huge congratulations to him. But what has this race done to the drivers and team standings? Let's take a quick look now. With his victory today, Hirakawa has moved up into the lead of the championship, 59 points for the Toyota driver, 4 ahead of Colton Herter and Yeye Fei, who are split on 55 points each. Pato Ward 4th on 52 ahead of Nick De Vries on 49. Gabriele Mini 6th on 43 ahead of Luke Browning on 36. Felix Rosenquist on 32. Roman Grosjean on 31. And Igor Fraga in 10th on 29 points. And in the teams, Toyota, their second victory has moved them into the lead of the standings, 108 points for Mike Gillespie's team. Biker down into second on 86 points, 5 ahead of Ram Racing, who are slowly but surely getting themselves right into that top 2 battle. They are on 81 points. Prema 4th on 68 ahead of Bimotor KRT on 57. Simtek 6th on 51 ahead of Opel on 42. 40 Corsa on 33. Eindames on 27, Mazda on 23, Chip Ganassi on 21, Zach Speed on 15, and M Sport on 6 in 13th place. So with League 2 done and dusted, let's move on to League 1. And having a look at the driver standings from last time out, Yuki Tsunoda taking his first victory at the last round at Sebring. He leads the championship on 57 points, ahead of Kamui Kobayashi in a Japan 1-2, the Minardi driver on 48 points. Ayhanchen Guva, no victories to his name so far this season, but consistent point scoring and a couple of podiums has put him 3rd on 42 points. Shane Van Gisbergen, our reigning champion, 4th on 36 points, was so close to the victory last time out at the Grand Prix of the Americas, but reliability dictated otherwise for the New Zealander. Scott Dixon, a 2-time champion of the series, He is 5th on 34 points ahead of Raffaele Marcello on 33, Alex Palou on 32, Marcus Ericsson on 30, Kyle Kirkwood on 26, and Jamie Whincup in the Cooper Kiro 10th on 25 points. And in the teams, Fomital lead the way on 87 points ahead of Minardi on 68, HRT on 59, Ducati on 58, Arrows on 52, Lancia on 46, Force India on 40, Prost on 35, Cooper Kiro 29, Onyx 24, and then in the relegation zone, BAR on 12, Carlin on 3, and Jaguar on 2. Those teams will be looking to get some much needed points today in Dijon-Bourgogne. Just the same as in League 2, there are no driver changes in League 1, so let's get straight to the grid. And on pole position it is Alex Palou, a fantastic lap by him, puts him a 10th.5 clear of Alessio Rivera, second in the Lancia, a fantastic performance by him, and he takes a career best second on the grid for today. Raffaele Marcello third in the Force India, ahead of Shane van Gisbergen in the Ducati. Kyle Kirkwood puts both HRTs into the top 5. John-Eric Vergne, a race winner this season, looking to stand on the podium once again at his home race. He starts 6th in the Prost ahead of Kamui Kobayashi in the Minardi. Robin Freins, Will Power and Jamie Whincup, also a race winner this season, looking to get some more points on the board. Kevin Estra, a home race for him as well as John-Eric Vergne. He starts from 11th today ahead of Oliver Rowland. Hansen Guven, 3rd in the championship, 13th on the grid today in the Lancia. Yuki Tsunoda, our championship leader, disappointed to be half a second off the pace. He will start 14th ahead of Antonio Pix da Costa, Marcus Ericsson, Scott Dixon, Philip Hansen, Nick Tandy and Brendan Hartley lining up 20th in the Arrows. And at the back, Kevin Magnussen, Mitch Evans, Maximilian Gunter, Sebastian Buemi, Stoffel van Dorn and Thierry Pourchaire rounding out the field. The top 24 all within a second of each other, and then Van Dorn and Pourchaire just outside of that 1 second mark. Well, we had an enjoyable race in League 2 and we are hoping for more of the same here in League 1. So let's get straight to it and hand back to Tom Cairns, who is eagerly waiting to start this race. So Tom, back to you.
Alex Palou looking to end his run of 3 consecutive non-finishes by taking his first win of the season. He's got a new contender of Alessio Rivera alongside on the front row. Lights are on. Lights off, it's go at Dijon-Bourgogne, and looking out for the man that's just leapt up into second place, that is Shane van Gisbergen, who's got to a tremendous start from 4th place on the grid, and now he is right on the tail of Alex Palou for the lead. Palou leads, Van Gisbergen second, it's John-Eric Vergne, who's got up into 3rd place on home turf in the Prost. Great start from him, not so for Alessio Rivera, he's down to 4th position. Kyle Kirkwood remains in 5th though. There's Raffaele Marcello, Robin Freins in 6th and 7th, and out goes Sebastian Buemi in the BAR. It's been a dreadful season so far for BAR, with Matteo Vitelloni in charge. And I wonder what's been going. Don't tell me. Oh, it's the 2 BARs running into each other. The home hero, Théo Pourchaire, running into Sebastian Buemi at turn 2. Side. You could argue that Buemi cut across him in there, but either way, whoever's fault it is, it doesn't really matter at this stage. Buemi retires, Pourchaire continues. Not a good start for the team. I imagine there'll be a few French words coming out of Buemi's mouth that'll be rather explicit. Now we see Palou in the lead, Van Gisbergen ahead of Vergne. And the punishment for Pourchaire is a 30-second time penalty and a 10-place grid penalty for the next race, and that's contact between Van Gisbergen and Vergne at Goddard. Down the back straight they came, and Vergne came from so far back. I mean, Van Gisbergen was surprisingly early on the brakes. I think if Vergne had got the move done there, that probably would have been perceived as a push to pass, but luckily he didn't go through. I don't think any action is going to be taken on that, so we'll carry on as they are. Low leads, and it's Van Gisbergen. Watch over Vergne and Rivera fighting over the final podium position. Kyle Kirkwood is in 5th place, and it's the 2 Force Indias of Raffaele Marcello and Robin Freins in 6th and 7th. Kamui Kobayashi in 8th for Minardi, followed by his teammate Will Power, and it's Kevin Estra, another one of the home heroes, inside the top 10. And that's contact between the Arrows and the Ducati. A think that might well have been... Was that Scott Dixon running into Nick Tandy? I'm going to get a look. It might actually have been Brendan Hartley making contact with him. Tandy did very well to keep it on the racetrack, though, and I don't expect any punishment to come Brendan Hartley's way this time. No action is taken. DaCosta has got past Ian Junguven for 13th. Prost looked to have a more competitive package here compared to previous races. Sean Verne, who had won earlier in the season in Roubaix, is making the most of the opportunity. There's a pass from the Force India of Rafael Marcello on Alessio Rivera. And Kevin Magnussen has got front wing damage, and that'll be the Carlin off into the pit lane. It'll be another long race, unfortunately, for the Dane. There's the Cooper Kiro of Jamie Whincup swapping places with Oliver Rowland. And further back, Scott Dixon is not going to be making it to the podium again because he is slowing on lap number 3. The double Grand Prix World Series champion is out of the race here in France. Run down on the setups for each of the teams in League 1 for this round. Ducati, Prost and Arrows have gone for mid-top speed. Fometal neutral. HRT and Minardi mid-top speed. BAR neutral. Force India. Prost have gone for mid-top speed. I was just going to say Onyx instead of Prost earlier on. They've also gone for mid-top speed. Carlin neutral. Cooper Kiro mid-top speed. Jaguar max mid-top speed. And Lancia have gone for mid-downforce. We see Verne line up a move on Van Gisbergen on the pit straight. And further back there is Frines and Kobayashi tussling over P7. There's Kobayashi thinking about a move there on the Force India. No way through, unfortunately, for the Japanese. It's Frines who holds on. Power's falling out of the points now. He's behind Jamie Whincup. Through he goes. Kobayashi on Frines. Ooh, Frines nearly getting out of shape there. Now he's really holding up the pack as they go through Ferris. But oh, that's a broken front wing for Kobayashi, which could cause problems to the drivers behind. Luckily, it doesn't cause any problems, but that is a very, very bad blow there for the Japanese. There we see some drivers making moves there. That's Guven going through. And looks like DaCosta's trying to get by Will Power at the same time. Navigating their way round. Kobayashi's wounded Minardi. Into the pit lane comes Kobayashi. He'll fall to the back. And there we look to see Guven and Power, who make contact at turn 1. Sounds like a magnetic connection between the pair. Power trying to get through. Tries to go for it again at turn 2, but to no avail. No action's going to be taken between those two. Verne has passed Van Gisbergen for second place now, though. I think it's safe to say Verne is on the 2 stop because he does look quick, perhaps too quick to the point where he is lighter on fuel. And Power does finally get by Guven. opened his points account for the season. Last time out at Sebring. Nice blow. He's on his own right now. He's doing his utmost to stay in touch. And Kirkwood has picked up an issue yet again in the HRT. Unbelievable luck. That's his 5th retirement in 6 races for the American. What must he do to catch a break? Gearbox issues, sideline. One of John Munro's drivers. Coming into this round, HRT top of the, well, there is this one 3rd in the standings, behind Minardi and Von Mattel. Look at Yuki Tsunoda, the race winner last time out in Sebring in League One. He's outside the points at the moment though. We look at Kevin Magnussen, and his teammate Stoffel van Dorn has retired at Goddard. He continues to go from bad to worse for Perry Brown's team. Oh, he got hit. Well, he hit the back of Porsche to begin with, and it was the Jaguar that took out the right rear of his car. It was Max Gunther. I'm not really sure there was much that Gunther could have done there. I mean, it was quite a bit back. I'll leave that for the stewards inside. Van Dorn retires, Gunther keeps going. Now look at Van Gisbergen, who locks up. What will the punishment be for Gunther, if any? It's a 30-second time penalty, a 10-place grid drop for the next race in Riccardo Tormo. It looks like Gunther has just crashed at the last turn. So the penalty's hardly relevant now. He will start 10 places back on the grid next time out in Valencia, and he's got 6 penalty points on his licence. I think that's harsh in my honest opinion, I really do. But I'm not the steward. Pass there, that looked like Philip Hansen going through on Yuki Tsunoda. Seeing through into 14th. Well, that might have been Kevin Estre on Robin Friends, I beg your pardon. No, I think I was right. I think it was Estre going through. While Hansen going through on Tsunoda. It's quite hard for me to keep up with this. Considering all the action that's going on. Da Costa, who's now in the points, has got Will Power ahead, and Da Costa makes his way past the Minardi. So it's not just Verne on the move, it's teammate Da Costa. He's beginning to really find some pace. And there's an engine fire at the back, and it's one of the Onyxes, and that has to be Philip Hansen. That's 3 non-finishes in a row for the Brit. There's another driver gone from this race, unfortunately. Philip Hansen joins the likes of Max Gunther, joins Stoffel van Dorn. Scott Dixon we also lost earlier, Sebastian Buemi. Kyle Kirkwood pulled out not too long ago. And we see Marcus Ericsson League 2 Drivers' Champion of Season 3. Nearly been run into by the Lancia of Dijon-Bourgogne. Look at Rivera. He's done well to maintain the region of the field that he's in, despite being on the front row. Too long before the first round of pit stops arrive. We're now on lap number 10 out of 48, approaching the quarter-way mark of this. Just reminded that the bottom 3 teams of League 1 will be heading down to League 2 at the end of this season. The bottom 3 teams heading into this were BAR, Carlin and Jaguar. It's unlikely any of them will come away with points this time around, which will give the chance to the likes of Onyx, Cooper Kiro and Prost to pull further clear of the drop. See Nick Tandy in 15th position behind Yuki Tsunoda. At the Drivers' Championship, Yuki Tsunoda was the leader going into this after his maiden win in Sebring. Kobayashi has already been in the wars in this race. And Dijon-Bourgogne is not in the points at the moment either. So there's a chance for Shane van Gisbergen to possibly go into the lead, but he would need to win this race in order to do so. He's in P3 as we speak. Alex Blow was to come away with the win and the fastest lap, as well as the pole position point which he got earlier. He would, in fact, move into the lead by 2 points over Tsunoda. So he'd move up from P7 into the lead. 4.1 seconds the gap between Palou and Verne. There's Kobayashi heading through on Evans. Cleanly this time, unlike what had happened at Sebring. And Kobayashi throws it away by spinning. Just on the exit of Ferris. And the position's given back to Evans. Just going a little bit too much speed. And the front wing's broken. And it gets worse for Kobayashi. You see 6 drivers out of the race so far. Hansen, Gunther, Van Dorn, Kirkwood, Dixon and Buemi. Tsunoda, Tandy and Hartley to move up positions. Jordan Verne in second place ahead of Shane van Gisbergen. Lowe has yet to win this season. His only win came at Buenos Aires in Season 4 for Ram. Oh, Apollo was lucky to keep going. That could have ended up in the same way as what happened to Max Gunther. And that would have been curtains for HRT as far as this race is concerned. Gisbergen, third. Marcello, fourth. Rivera, Estra, Wincup, Fries, DaCosta and Power. And Tandy slows in the Ducati. And he's missed pit entry and he is out of the race. Seventh driver to retire. Shane van Gisbergen still going in third position, but Tandy won't be adding to his total of 22 points. We see Mitch Evans has gone up to 15th place now. Just a little consolation for him and for Jaguar. Rock bottom coming into this with just 2 points to their name. Look at Van Gisbergen in P3. Oh, Power hits the barrier as well now, as DaCosta enters the pit lane for Prost. Gisbergen 2.5 seconds behind Verne. It's Marcello who's holding on well ahead of Rivera in the fight for 4th place. Estra into this with only 1 point to his name. He's in P6. Then we've got Wincup, Frines, Power and Roland. So both of the Cooper Heroes are inside the points. See Magnussen, 16 being chased by DaCosta and Ericsson. Lowe remains out there in the lead, the only HRT left in the race. Not a lot of action is happening on the racetrack. And Rivera he's slowing in the Lancia. That's a terrible shame for Chris Cavani's team. Rivera was having the best race of his career so far until now. He's out on lap 15. Electrical issues sideline the Italian. Verne has gone behind Van Gisbergen and Marcello. What has happened to Jean-Luc Verne? So Verne's down to 4th position. Has he made a mistake somewhere around the racetrack? I think he's having to come into the pit lane for some form of issue. So at least Verne has stayed in this one as DaCosta goes by Porsche for 14th on the road. Is also in for Onyx. Jean-Luc Verne will come back out. He will not come out behind. He's actually behind Estra now as well. As Frines rides the grass. I think he was able to survive that one. Verne is behind Estra in 14th. So Verne's going to have to really fight back. He's to finish on the podium today. is in for his first stop as well. Which might hand the lead over to Shane van Gisbergen. Gets the job done on Willpower. Goddard. Vern is now behind. Oh, well, he was behind, but now he's picked up a problem. And that's an awful shame for the home hero. It's another retirement for him. He's 5th from 6 races in Season 6. Oliver Rowland enters the pit lane for Cooper Kiro. Marcello likewise, but Vern is out. Did stay out and is in the lead. Pelot rejoining 4th behind Robin Frines, who has yet to stop. Jamie Winkup now up into 2nd position for Cooper Kiro. Now we see Winkup. Frines should pass by Pelot any moment. Wasn't able to get the move done at the hairpin. He might go for it before the last corner if he's feeling that ambitious, but decides to hold back. Van Gisbergen comes in from the lead. As does Winkup. Frines will only be in the lead for a few hundred metres because Pelot has got himself back into his merited place and he's at the head of the pack once more. Kobayashi in 15th. Evans comes in. Van Gisbergen rejoining 6th place. Winkup rejoining P12, and that's Kobayashi going through on Porsche for 13th position. To be very daring on the brakes. Winning in P2, having a strong race so far for Force India. There's Van Gisbergen on the inside of Yuki Tsunoda. That's for 5th place on the road. Tsunoda has yet to stop in this so far. And a new fast stop of the race from Alex Pelot. It looks like he's going to keep hold of that. Guven comes in for his first stop. Rowland passes Porsche. I have to say for Ed Hunter's team, it's not been a bad outing for his squad so far. There is still a long way to go. Marcello on the inside of Tsunoda this time at turn 2. Tsunoda gives him the space. Marcello goes off the circuit. Sole surviving VAR is his first stop. So he's not been a happy one from his standpoint. Foster in 7th place behind Tsunoda, so there's still hope for Prost to come away with points. Still leading this one, is now 7.2 clear. Frines has yet to stop in this. Marcello on the inside of Willpower for 4th place. That was a good pass. And Pelot's back in again. So Pelot is in with an issue. It's an electrical problem for the race leader. And it's not the first time this season we've seen that. We saw it at Road America when he was running in the lead with about 8 or 9 laps to go. And that effectively cost him the win. A long way to go yet still, but he hasn't put enough fuel to go to the end, so he will need to stop again before this race is over. So you have to say it's advantage Ducati. With Frines yet to stop, Van Gisbergen has already stopped. Looks to be in a strong place to win this one. On the lead to Dijon-Bourgogne Grand Prix last season, did SVG. Could it be on target 2 again? This time in League 1. 2 seconds is the margin, so Van Gisbergen will be within range to get the job done here on Fries. Hartley nearly pulling over the curve there. Wrecked his front wing very, very quickly. And behind Hartley are Ericsson and Pillow. By Ericsson and Hartley here. He's going to head on by into turn 1 here, there's no doubt about that. From below. It's too much time, and Van Gisbergen has now got by Fines for the lead. You can just see Below desperately trying to get through on Hartley without losing too much time. Trying to pass him on that kink, and that's allowed Ericsson to come back into play. Low stays in front. He'll be going after Hartley at such a fast rate. Go through. I think there's been a problem for Sonoda because it looks like he might have front wing damage. He has got front wing damage. He spins right into the path of the traffic. It's Marcus Ericsson. Sorry, it's not Yuki Sonoda. It's Marcus Ericsson, who looked like he held up the field there. Kobayashi took 2 in 1 go. Then there was contact from the Cupra Kiro of Oliver Rowland. Ericsson went wide. Spun round and nearly took the Cupra Kiro with him. Hartley is in. No further action is going to be taken on that incident we've just seen. And what about Estra? Is he a look at Antonio Felix da Costa? It doesn't look like he is. Race leader Shane Van Gisbergen, League 2 Drivers' Champion last season. Lead. The way things are going for him, victory would put him ahead. Oh, that's below, wrecking his front wing. Now his race is totally ruined. Oh, we nearly came back out into the path there of the Minardi of Kobayashi. We're going to see a replay of how he's managed to do that over at the Ferris Flick. He just missed the apex slightly. The front wing completely disintegrating. So the Spaniard was able to get back on the circuit, but now he'll fall out of the points. A horrible race again for HRT. Costa has got Estra right behind. Release in space, makes it through turn 2. Lap 23, Van Gisbergen continuing to pull away. It's Marcello and Fines are in second and third. This would be a great sight for Ed Spencer to see his drivers on the podium again. His team came into this one 7th in the team's championship on 40 points. Of course, if they were to get a second and third, that could give them a chance of the championship somewhat. They did pick up a win earlier in the season at Curitiba, courtesy of Marcello. Approaching the halfway point in this one. Estra did get by Da Costa in the end, so Da Costa is now down to 5th. Whincup is going to be the next driver to send Da Costa down the order, so Da Costa is down to P6. He's struggling with his brakes a little bit, it seems. Frines 3rd place. There we see Guvin in 10th ahead of Roland, Ericsson, Magnussen, Evans and Porsche. And that looks like a car slowing, and that's Kobayashi. It's been a miserable race for him. It has been great really for Minardi, has it, in France. And he's the next one to go from the League 1 Dijon-Bourgogne Grand Prix. I believe we are now down to 16 runners in this one. Sainz Below will have fallen to last place, having pitted 3 times. And Marcello is coming in for one he's proven to be his one and only stop. He's in from 2nd. Power in at the same time, as is Yuki Tsunoda. Estra, 1 point all season so far, running in a podium position in P3, and Alex Palou with another new fast lap of the race. 1:13.2. There is a chance he'll get back into the points, considering the pace that he'll be able to unleash. If he's lucky, he might get back to P6. Like I said before, he will need to pit one more time. He's made 3 stops in this race, and with the fuel that he'll have just put in, there's no way he'll go to the end. He'll have to come in one more time. And then we look at the Carlin here of Wenson. That's Mitch Evans right behind. So pit stop over at Force India with Robin Frines also coming in for his one and only stop. Following the same strategy as what his teammate is doing. And that's Kevin Magnussen hitting the barrier on the exit of the last corner, and that opens the door for Mitch Evans to go up into the points. There is Jamie Whincup in P3, Kevin Estra now 2nd. Da Costa back up into 4th place. For Mitch Evans to go on through, so Jaguar's race is coming alive a little bit now. Evans goes by Frines. This player is now in 14th position behind Brendan Hartley. Mitch Evans is passed by the Force India again. Nearly running into each other there, which would have been interesting. Down the back straight of Le Piste. Hero Kevin Estra in 2nd place. Below has passed Hartley and Magnussen now. Continuing to make up all the time that he had lost. Ericsson. What about Polo with Porsche? But Whincup has passed Estra for second position. I think that move had been coming all along. Now Cooper Kiro and Onyx came into this one, 9th and 10th in the standings. Kiro's points as it stands, with Whincup in second and Roland in 7th, which would give them 24 championship points. They'll move on to 53. Onyx with Estra running up in 3rd place, giving them 15 points, with everyone else around in the field will stay in 10th, but they'll be a lot further clear of the drop. Magnussen doesn't it out with Yuki Tsunoda. He's not able to find a way through. Yuki Tsunoda, he's last of the drivers left in this one, in 16th. I think with his pace, he should be able to sail on by Magnussen at the end of the back straight. He does so, and he's up a place. And Explodes now back into the points in 10th. There's still life left in that HRT. There's no chance of him going for the win now. That's gone. We see a move from the Minardi of Power on the one remaining arrows of Brendan Hartley. And that's Ericsson hitting the barrier, and that has opened the door for Below to go on by. And Ericsson was so lucky to stay in this race, because I thought that was going to be a wheel coming off that wagon. Easy picking for Polo. And there we see Frank Gisbergen running wide a little, staying on the tarmac. Finds overtakes Roland for P7. Gisbergen in the lead and Whincup in second. Look at Astra, who's 5 seconds ahead of DaCosta. And Hartley's been overtaken by Mitch Evans now. He's holding up Porsche, Power and Tsunoda. And Extra is another driver to climb with the barrier on the exit of Dixon. Second, 2 seconds clear over Astra now. DaCosta is under attack from Marcello, who was one of the recent drivers to have pitted. Power overtakes Porsche. Let's go up into 13th on the road. And Tsunoda is able to get the job done on Porsche at turn 2. Been that sort of race for BAR again. Marcello up to 4th past DaCosta now. He's already got by Guvin, now he's got by DaCosta for 4th place. Fine, he's still got a little bit of ground to make up on Guvin before he gets that. Now on lap 31, Gisbergen continuing to dominate this one after Pelot's errors earlier. Pelot should go by Roland on this lap. He hasn't got by him yet though. Ericsson coming in for his last stop of the race. He's got some clear track ahead of him, so he may be able to complete an undercut on some of these. Plo has overtaken Roland for P8. Van Gisbergen trying to start another lap. Lancia pulling alongside. Is this going to be a change for position? It's not. Guven holds back. Da Costa's still having a strong time of it. Still firmly in the midfield, but it's been a better showing from Prost all round, even with Verne retiring. See Guven making contact with Da Costa. Oh, that was so close to the pair of them going out. On board, there was no way through for Guven to get by, but at least he didn't gain the position. And, no further action will be taken on that incident. SVG still continuing to scamp off into the distance. The gap between Whincup and Estra has come back down though to 1.5 seconds. We see Estra being chased by Marcello. It won't be too long before we see pit stops from these. And Van Gisbergen is in from the lead. He'll come out behind Marcello, but Van Gisbergen will be on much better tyres and will still be the favourite to win this. Whincup and Estra are also ducking in. In fact, SVG gets out in front of Marcello. Costa and also for Guven. And Plo in for his last stop as well. This could be bad news for Estra, who will have lost time in the pit stops here because he was about 1.5 seconds off Whincup. Now it seems to be a lot more than that. That's going to hurt him a lot. So there we see Van Gisbergen in the lead. And out goes Kevin Magnussen. That's the second Carlin gone. Engine failure for the Dane. And then there were 15. There's still a third of the race to go. Rejoining 13th after his last stop. It's going to be interesting now with the mixture of strategies to see how long it will take for the two stoppers to plough their way through. With Roland coming in now for Cubic Hero, and he'll fall to the back of the pack. Also in is Mitch Evans. So Roland will rejoin in 14th. Max Plo is down in P12 through all the stops. He'll have lost time. As we see him move from Da Costa on Hartley for 9th position. We see Van Gisbergen in the lead. Marcello's second, Frine's third. Whincup, who made his last stop, is now fourth, but he's on better tyres compared to the Force Indies. So there's still the possibility of Jamie Whincup and Kevin Estra making it back to the podium before this race is over. look. This is Théo Pourchaire. Look at Brennan Hartley for the last point, but remember, Pourchaire has that penalty hanging over him. There's no chance he'll be coming away with anything today. We see moves from Sonoda. There's also one from De Costa on Guven. Pourchaire is in for BAR. Guven goes past the one stop in Sonoda. Keeps his car on the racetrack. See Guven go past Power. Costa has overtaken Sonoda. That's a big flow. It's gone by Brennan Hartley up into P11. We saw what happened to Van Gisbergen. Final few laps at Sebring, and Ericsson breaks his front wing over the curb, and his chances of points are completely gone now from this race. Marciello is having to come back into the pit lane for Force India with some form of issue. Rines is doing to second place. That problem for Marciello has cost him 3 positions. Surely cannot throw away this win. I was going to say, in terms of what happened at Sebring, he dropped out from the lead after Will Power had retired. He was on the penultimate lap where he stopped, and Yuki Tsunoda took the lead and he won the race from there. Never look at Will Power being attacked here by Alex Blow. This is the fight for 8th position. Yet for the Spaniard. At 37, Van Gisbergen continuing to dominate proceedings. And there we see Palou, who was the leader of this race. He's pitted 4 times. He's now recovered to 8th position. See Roland running wide at turn 2 in front of Yuki Tsunoda. Tsunoda was on a run of 4 consecutive points finishes going into this one. Same for Hyunjin Guven. P6 is the Turk. There's Winkup in 3rd position, 4.5 seconds clear over Kevin Estra, but he is catching Robin Frines. Cup is on the 2 stop, Frines on the 1. Now onto the back straight in the moment, those two. We're seeing Roland get by Will Power now. Roland is back into 9th. Hero on course for some good points, which will be their best haul of points since their win at the season opener in Road America. You can see Frines there chasing Winkup, and that's because Winkup... Well, in fact, Winkup's passed Frines, I should say. Winkup has passed Frines in this lap, is now into 2nd position. How long will it be before Kevin Estra goes by? I just can't see Frines holding on ahead of the Frenchman. Racing is Alex Palou, who was going after Antonio Felix da Costa. Race leader once more. 5 times the race winner last season. He's yet to win this season. If he does so, he'll become the 12th different race winner from 12 races in season 6 in the Grand Prix series. Who's got by Robin Fries now for P3. So that is the Onyx through and up into the podium places. Fries is going to have to do what he can to hold off Rafael Marcello, but he's got basically 9 laps to hold on. I don't see how he's going to do it. In P2. Mitch Evans is having a go on Yuki Tsunoda at turn 1. That's the Jaguar through. There's 1 point away. His first point for the Jaguar team. And boy, could they do with that. And of course, a championship point for Jaguar. Would not lift them off the bottom. But a 9th place finish would. As it stands with the positions as they are, Shane van Gisbergen will move into the championship lead. And that's Fries being passed by Marcello. That's Marcello through on his teammate. I think if there's one man that's going to be fighting for a podium between these two, it's going to be Marcello, because he's pitted twice. Look at Whincup. And this result would propel him up the order. He'll go in front of Kyle Kirkwood, he'll go in front of Marcus Ericsson, Alex Palou, Scott Dixon. Probably be in 4th position as it stands, but we'll find out once the calculations have been made. I think it's 5th because Rafael Marcello is running well in this one. Result either way for Cooper Kiro and for Ed Hunter, the team manager of the squad. There is a 4-way battle potentially between Tsunoda, Hartley, Porsche and Ericsson. And there we see Marcus Ericsson, who goes off the circuit in the Fonmetal. Has he broken the front wing? He has broken the front wing. And that just sums up his day, just as it did over at Sebring a couple of weeks ago. Porsche right behind. And then Hartley. We're looking at Shane van Gisbergen's on board. This is very close to winning once again here in Dijon-Bourgogne. It will be his first of the season. And there is a moment here for Mitch Evans to go by Will Power, and he's up into the points. But one man who is not going to be the championship leader after this one is Yuki Tsunoda. After his heroics last time out, Fonmetal are going to come away with no points here in France. That's Yuki Tsunoda gone from this race. That's only his second retirement of the season. With the team's championship as it stands. Looks like Ducati. They're not going to be in the lead just yet. So as it stands, even with both of their drivers out of the points now, Vomitel could still be leading this one because Minardi have not got either of their drivers in the points. Paulo's got the points for pole position and fastest lap. Ducati, when Gisbergen's to remain where he is, he would move Ducati to second position, maybe 2 points off the lead. See Esther in third place, being chased by Marcello. It's not done yet between these two. It looks unlikely that Esther is going to be finishing on the podium, which would be a terrible show for Ryan Ferris. He's had little to celebrate this season, really. Just 5 laps to go for these two, but I just don't think Esther has got the leverage he needs to hold back the Force India. See Marcello attempting to go by Esther at turn 2, but no way he was going to get through that. Down the back straight they come. I think Marcello's route to the podium is about to be complete here by passing Kevin Estre for third position. Can he go after Whincup? See Whincup, second position. Important points for Ed Hunter and for Cooper Kiro to ensure they'll be racing in League One again next season. Now, Alex Palou is 2.3 seconds off Antonio Felix da Costa for 7th place. See Van Gisbergen. Behind you can just see in the background is Marcus Ericsson. He'll be on much better tyres with low fuel. Might be able to use this to his advantage. I mean, the only consolation he could maybe take from this, if he can get back ahead of Van Gisbergen, I'll come to that in a moment, because Evans from 10th place in the Jaguar has come to a slowdown. And he's not going to make it back to pit entry either. That's a terrible shame for Mike Smith. They really need these points. Down the drain for Evans. Power goes back into the points. Evans is out. I was going to say about Ericsson, if he can get back ahead of Van Gisbergen on the road, make up another position, because Porsche has that penalty hanging over him. The gap between Whincup and Marcello is now 2.6 seconds, and that's Whincup riding the grass on the exit turn 1. That could have been very disastrous for the Australian. Broken his front wing there, and he would have spent a whole lap without a front wing to his wagon. That could have cost him a points finish as well. Got 3 laps to go, and he's still in second. There we see the race leader being chased by Marcus Ericsson, who's trying to unlap himself from him. See how much quicker Ericsson's going just by how close he's getting to the rear wing of the Ducati. Here he goes up, and Ericsson's going to unlap himself from Van Gisbergen. So he thought he was going to at turn 1, but sure he'll do it at turn number 2 here. Goes Van Gisbergen lets him go through, and Ericsson says thank you very much. And then we look at Oliver Rowland, who's running in 9th position, also on course for a couple of points. The left-hander of Goddard. At Robin Fries, because he's got Guven, who's run about 3.7 seconds back. That should be fine for Fries to hold on. The gap between Whincup and Marcello is still under a couple of seconds. Marcello's not gaining enough ground on Whincup at this moment in time to mount a challenge. See the race leader on his last lap now. Shane Van Gisbergen is about to do it again at Dijon-Bourgogne, just like last season in League 2. But this was a gigantic step for the team after coming up from the lower division in Season 5, clinching the Team's Championship and the Drivers' Championship. Can they really push and become the first team in Grand Prix Series history to win back-to-back crowns in different divisions? There we see SVG coming through the Cairns kink for the last time. He's got Goddard and Dixon to navigate through, and the checker flag will be waiting for the man in your picture. Round the right-hander he comes, and the crowd will stand on their feet. Shane Van Gisbergen exits the last corner to win the League 1 Dijon-Bourgogne Grand Prix. What a job from Ducati. Another different race winner. It's the first of the season for Shane Van Gisbergen and the 6th of his career. Jamie Whincup is going to bring a smile to Ed Hunter's face. He holds off Raffaele Marciello to come through and finish in 2nd place. A good result for Cooper Kiro, their best result since their win at Road America. Marcello 3rd, Estra just missed out on the podium in 4th position. Frines holds on to 5th place, good points for Force India. Ayunchin Guven continues to have a really good season so far in 6th. We've got Antonio Felix da Costa and Alex Plo, who picks up a disappointing 8th place finish. Oliver Rowland 9th, and the final point will go to Will Power and Minardi. Little consolation for them. And then we just wait for the likes of Théo Pourchaire, Brendan Hartley, and Marcus Ericsson's right on their tail now as well. There they are, look. Pourchaire will drop back to 13th place, so Hartley and Ericsson move up. It's a win for Shane Van Gisbergen in France at Dijon-Bourgogne. He is now the new championship leader. Jamie Whincup 2nd, Raffaele Marciello in 3rd place, Kevin Estre in 4th, Robin Frines in 5th, then it's Ayunchin Guven in 6th, and Antonio Felix da Costa scoring for the 2nd race in a row in 7th. Alex Plo, after being in the lead, pits in 4 times, ended up in 8th position. Oliver Rowland 9th, and Will Power taking the final point from Minardi in 10th position. Brendan Hartley 11th, Marcus Ericsson in 12th, and Théo Pourchaire with his time penalty dropping into 13th. Mitch Evans classified in 14th position, dropping out with 4 laps to go. Yuki Tsunoda, Kevin Magnussen, Kamui Kobayashi, Jean-Eric Verne, who could have been on the podium today, ended up retiring. Alessio Rivera, Nick Tandy, Philip Hansen, Max Gunther, Stoffel van Dorn, Kyle Kirkwood, Scott Dixon and Sebastian Buemi were the drivers that did not finish. The pole position and fast lap points going to Alex Palou. Another brilliant race, and Shane van Gisbergen adds his name to Season 6's list of race winners. 12 rounds, or 12 races rather, from 6 rounds, and 12 different race winners. What a season of the Grand Prix Series we are being treated to, and there is still a whole lot more to come. It's time to run down on the League 1 Drivers and Teams Championships in the voice of Topher Smith, and I'll see you for the next round in Ricardo Tormo, Valencia, in Spain, in a couple of weeks' time. Topher, over to you.
He should have gotten the victory at Sebring. He did get the victory at Dijon-Bourgogne. A great job by Shane van Gisbergen. And with that victory, he has put himself into the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Let's take a look at the points now. SVG looking to go back-to-back across League 2 and League 1. Now finds himself in the best position after the first 6 rounds. 61 points for the Ducati, 4 ahead of Yuki Tsunoda, who drops down to 2nd in the Fomitel. Ahanshan Guven 3rd in the Lancia on 50, ahead of Raffaele Marcello on 48. Kimoku Kobayashi down to 5th in the standings, also on 48 points. Marcello ahead on countback. Jimmy Whincup up to 6th on 43, ahead of Alex Palou on 39, Scott Dixon on 34, Marcus Ericsson on 30, and Kyle Kirkwood on 26, another retirement by the American today. And in the team standings, Fomitel still holds on to the lead in the championship despite not picking up any points today, but Ducati has really brought that gap down. 4 points now between those two teams, with Minardi hot on their heels in 3rd on 69 points, HRT 4th on 65, Force India also on 65, ahead of Lancia on 54, Arrows on 52, Cooper Kiro on 49, Prost on 41, Onyx Grand Prix on 36, and then BAR, Carlin and Jaguar all non-scores today and still looking to get some more points to lift themselves out of the relegation zone. Well, it has been another fantastic event here in Dijon-Bourgogne, and we now have the second upgrade window of the season, where team managers can use their prize money to upgrade their power, downforce and reliability. We will see how that changes the pecking order at the next round at the Ricardo Tormo circuit in Valencia. Until then, it's been an absolute pleasure to have your company. I'm Topher Smith. Take care.